This weekend really inspired me to think back on our time at the MCU. A certain movie dropped this weekend called Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and we got some new outfits, some new characters, some new looks for our classic heroes. And yeah, it just got me thinking, what's my favorite look of any character in the MCU? Start to finish, Iron Man to Ant-Man, Quantumania, hero or villain, or both. What's the best look out there? And it is all inspired by the look of Kang the Conqueror, bro. And so I'm just gonna lead it off. That's my it might be recency bias, we'll see, but it's my number one. It's my number one look of the MCU is Kang coming in, hero or villain. Like, his outfit looks so dope. It's like they almost pushed it to the point where it looks like chintzy and like plastic, but it's just at that level where it actually just looks super futuristic and formidable and durable and just clean, like stylish as hell. Like, he just looks dope in it. The cape works perfectly. Him using little blue discs and floating down with the blue nanotech mask that goes over his face and changes his eye color. Bro, he just looks so intimidating, but yet ballin' at the same time. Like, it's just a clean ass look. And yeah, it's my favorite, dude, I think. And the scars on his face, too, to top it off. Like, no other Kang's got those scars on his face. It's just such a dope look to add on to his dope performance and just helped him be one of the dopest characters in the MCU. So anyways, what do you guys got going? I have another one I'll throw out. That was my runner-up. But what do you guys think of when you hear that question?
I think it's hard to pick. When it comes to villains, since we're on the villain category, I think I'm going to have to go with Thanos in Endgame with the armor on. And I think of that 3v1 battle with Thor, Cap, and Iron Man. Yeah. And just how he has the double-bladed sword, and just his classic armor because he doesn't have the stones yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks scarier than the tank top Infinity War look. Like, yeah, he gets that full battle armor thing, and he looks intimidating as hell.
And when it's covered in blood when they finally show him in Endgame. Intimidating.
That's a good pick. All right, JD, what about you real quick? Villain-wise, let's go with your villain. What's your favorite look?
I'm going to go with Ultron.
Oh, okay.
He was really intimidating. I think I also have the bias of the James Spader voice. James Spader's amazing. And he was sick, dude. He was very, very intimidating.
Yeah, straight up. It's interesting. You compare him to comics, and I think Ultron, I think he looks a little better in the movies than in the comics, but there's different variations, so it's kind of hard to compare. But when I think of, like, I think with Thanos too, he looked way doper in Endgame than in the comics, but obviously Thanos' original look came from the 60s or whatever, so it's obviously a pretty goofy look too. But yeah, when I think of all three of those, it's like, all three of those characters are perfect examples of adapting a character from the comics, making it comic accurate, but making it better at the same time. So I'll go into our heroes real quick, which this was my favorite one right before this, and it's Thor in Infinity War, bro. The all-black carbon fiber looking Thor outfit, the short hair, Stormbreaker coming in hot. He's got his full powers, one eye, he's got two eyes at that point, but that's my favorite. That was my favorite look of the MCU until Kang showed up.
That's definitely the best Thor outfit by far, too.
Oh, yeah.
Long way from the first one.
Agreed.
Yeah. What about you guys? Heroes. Who's your heroes?
I'm going to go with the one that started it all, Iron Man. The very first suit that was more believable.
Yes.
It wasn't nanotech or whatever it evolved into. And it had the sounds that made it sound like the mechanics were moving. All the little... Like, every time he impacted anything, the tinks, it felt realistic. And it was put on piece by piece by a really futuristic machine. And it was just high-tech enough and just believable enough to be, I think, the perfect middle ground for a sci-fi movie.
Straight up. Yeah. I think I might have liked the silver one a little better, too, before he painted it, because it looked so dope. But yeah,
how did
both
they make
of the originals.
With CGI, how do you make the silver one like a perfect mirror? Like, that thing was reflecting. It looked so real.
Looked incredible. I don't know. They nailed that for 2008. It's just insane.
Speaking of nanotech, does Ant-Man have nanotech now? You see how
that's what it seemed like.
He has a little chest piece, huh? And he has the same damn suit he had in the first movie.
Nah, I just watched the first movie. The first movie, because I was thinking that too, but the first movie, it looks like it's from the 80s. Like there's a bunch of big bulky cables going around the neck and stuff like that. Like I was like, oh, never mind. That is an old suit.
Okay, word. But I think my pick...
Nanotech's like fast food in the MCU.
Yeah,
right.
it's just everywhere. Makes you shit. No, not that one.
I think my pick is going to have to be a character who has had like 3 or 4 doped costumes now, and that's Spider-Man. But I am picking Far From Home as my favorite, which is, the black and red one that he gets. Yeah.
Good call. I didn't think of that.
Pretty clean. Creates it himself too. Kind of adds another little touch to it.
Yeah.
Well, using Stark Tech, but...
And then his new one that he gets at the end of No Way Home is also so sick.
That one's up there. That looks clean.
Dude, it seems like the Iron Man Spider-Man kind of took away from the character. Like, this dude does not need tech. I mean, he's Spider-Man. He's quick, he's fast, he's agile. Like, he doesn't need any tech to help him fight crime. So, was never a fan of the Iron Man Spider-Man suit. So, and the Far From Home one was sick.
Yeah. And that's why I'm stoked on this one. Yeah, we're finally going to get to see him make his own, So, yeah, definitely
kind
right
of a
choice.
reset for the character. Yeah.
Yep.
And a close runner-up is Black Panther.
The Civil War suit or the Black Panther movie?
Civil War, dude. The Civil War one is sick, man.
That's my third, I think. That's probably right below Thor. That one is so clean. Should not have gone nanotech.
I was going to say, nanotech ruins everything in the MCU. It helps them out, but it ruins things for us. And it really helps out the writers. It's easy for them to write, nanotech, you can just slap this on at any given time.
Yeah, he doesn't need to have a suit. Scots and jeans, we'll just have him pull something out of his pocket, slap it on his chest.
Yeah.
Now he's good.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Why So Sidious, a nerd podcast. Joining me today are my co-hosts, David Cochran and Jeremy Darr. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Why So Sidious Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Today, we are bringing you the breakdown and review of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. But before we get into that, we want to give you some programming reminders. Our new Avengers coverage just dropped. Actually, listen to that today. And they're talking a lot about incursions, just like Kang is talking to Janet about in the movie. Just a lot of stuff they're setting up in these, with the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, post-credit scene, and then this. Incursions are coming, and this is basically the main plot of these comic books. So check it out.
It's all connected.
And we have our Star Wars top 5 novels coming out soon. And of course, our continuing coverage of The Last of Us. One of our previous episodes was a box office draft, and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was my first pick. Opening weekend, it has made $357 million worldwide, which is a good projection if it stays steady for a month. It could get up to 800, 900.
Pretty good. Pretty solid start. I'd be happy with it.
And this is the 31st movie in the MCU. That's word to Baskin-Robbins.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's interesting it worked out that way. Hey, so Caleb, real quick, do you remember what happened, in this movie?
Well, Janet's just chilling in the quantum realm when she's like, damn, some spiders. Then this mysterious guy shows up asking where he is. Fast forward to today, bro, and Scott's living the good life, not like when I met him, until he finds out that his daughter's in the slammer. And he was all like, Cassie, you can't be doing that. And she's all like, damn, you can't control my life, Dad. But she's a smart kid. She built a freaking satellite to the quantum realm with a box of scraps. But things went south quick, man. Janet tried to explain, but it's complicated. And of course they get split up. Cassie and Scott come across these villagers and they're all like, tell us what you were doing here or we'll kill you. And Scott's like, we just want to go to Earth. And they're like, what's Earth? Then this giant face with little legs shows up. And that's one of Scott's old enemies. Over in Coruscant, Janet, Hank, and Hope meet up with Janet's old fling. And Hank's like, what wild stuff, baby?
Baby.
But he's working for the bad guy. Then Hope's all like, look at me, look at my hair, I'm all business. And they escape. Then Janet's all like, fine, I'll finally tell you guys everything I've been hiding all this time for some reason. And her and Kang were homies, bro. Like, it's all her fault, bro. And she's all like, who's Kang? Cassie and Scott are all locked up, like father, like daughter, you know? Then Kang sort of gives him an ultimatum, and he has to go on the heist of all heists. You wouldn't believe it. Then Kang's all like, no, I'm going back on the deal. I'm a winner. And that makes Scott real mad. Then a bunch of giant ants show up and kick Kang's ass. And Kang's all like, and they live happily ever after. But wait, is that Kang's music I hear? Right as Scott's about to go through the portal, Kang's all like, not today, Scotty, I'm a winner. Then Scott's all like, I don't have to win, we both just need to lose. Power scales are flipping like pancakes. Kang loses being sucked into his orb to later return, maybe? But you never know with this guy. Leading to 2 wild post-credit scenes setting up the MCU future. And that was a special request from our loyal listener, Cody. And I did not take any truth serum before doing this so I could unbiasedly summarize the movie.
You did
Truth
good.
serum isn't a real thing.
Yeah, it is, bro. It's right there.
So what does it do? It makes me tell the truth? Yes. Truth serum.
So, this movie gets into the quantum realm pretty quick, but there is a couple funny scenes before that. It obviously starts off with the book tour, and it's him narrating, and it started off kind of corny, but there's some heart in there, so I appreciate that, Scott. It's not just a money grab.
Mm.
And he's listening to the audiobook, and he's like, am I the Hulk's baby? Super funny. When he got shrunk and when he shrunk Hulk in the end game, yeah.
Why did the Hulk turn me into a baby? Yeah, I don't know. I thought that. Wow, I don't know what the hell spasm
Nice,
was.
nailed it.
Got a little excited there. It was like a cartoon started running and was just running in place for a second before I took off. Yeah, I don't know. The intro was funny, and I appreciate Paul Rudd humor at any point. But honestly, I didn't like it overall because it kind of made me not like Scott. I was kind of like, this guy's kind of a douche. He's just constantly talking about himself, listening to his own book on tape, doing all of this stuff for all this attention. And if that was a normal person in real life, I'd be like, this guy's a jackass. So seeing Scott do it, I was kind of like, I don't like that he's doing this. But I get it was just a funny little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, we all know what this movie's about too. So everything that took place before the quantum realm was just like, all right, get over it. I expected more world building actually. Where's the MCU right now? I don't know. What's the government think of some of the events that's been happening, or where's S.H.I.E.L.D. or Hydra or any superhuman people that monitor those kind of people? Are there an active Avengers? Are they talking about Avengers? Do they want any kind of superhuman resistance to crazy things? I want to know where the MCU is. You know what I mean? Are people recruiting for another Avengers team, or, what's brewing on Earth? I would feel like they used to give us a good idea of what the general public's kind of opinion of these weird things were, how the government's reacting to a lot of these things. There's so many things I want to know about the MCU right now that we haven't really learned anything. Wakanda Forever did pretty good with, we know there's going to be a Wakanda America conflict, and there's also an underwater civilization conflict. So that was the only actual MCU world building we've gotten for a long time, so...
Yeah, they definitely just skipped. They didn't even attempt to touch on that at all in this movie, for sure. They just stayed in their own
hint.
No, it was the Ant-Man universe, essentially, until, Kang, obviously. But, yeah, they really stick within their own boundaries in the Ant-Man franchise, it seems.
And you can't really put it on that one movie to blame it on. It's kind of a complaint of this phase overall.
Straight up. Yeah, because I wasn't even expecting it from this. I figured we were just probably going to... It happened it happened pretty damn fast. We were in the quantum realm 10 minutes into the movie, but I was kind of expecting something like that, but
a little bit, yeah.
It's kind of just lazy setup in a way, because the theme of the movie is supposed to be Scott and Cassie's bond growing, and they kind of show this quick 10-minute conflict in the beginning, and then they're pretty cool with each other for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, the conflict there where she says she's disappointed in him, but then as soon as they're in the quantum realm, it's pretty much instantly gone. That whole you're right. One more issue I had before we dive into the quantum realm. I gotta say, I'm not that huge of a fan of the casting for Cassie, Catherine Newton. Nothing against her, but it didn't do it for me. Cassie was one of my favorite characters in the first 2 Ant-Mans, and again, that's nothing against this actress. That was just because she was a cute little kid and she was funny, but. I don't know what it was. I don't know. It came off a little too Disney Channel for me. It was just a little bit too, I don't know. She had some good scenes, and there were some emotional scenes I appreciated between her and Paul Rudd, but overall, I just really wasn't feeling this actress.
Feeling too Disney Channel, I think, is a consistent theme throughout this movie.
Yes. Yeah. And Scott's daughter's going to be funnier than that. I'm sorry, her lines weren't hitting for me.
No, she wasn't funny at all. She was hilarious in the first two. Yeah, exactly. She's like a totally different, again, I know she's 10, 15 years older, but she had a totally different like personality.
Okay, so like I said in the summary, she builds a freaking satellite to the quantum realm, and Janet starts freaking out. Like, this is like you're sending a signal down there, and once this is the part that was really bugging me about the first half of the movie was her not really explaining things, and then them kept going, him, this powerful guy, he, if he shows up,
dude,
things will be bad. And it's just like they're just teasing and teasing like, and teasing the first 45 minutes of this movie.
Right.
Yeah, right.
We just tell them.
And we don't need to be... Exactly.
You're putting your family at risk.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and from a writer's perspective, we don't need to be spoon-fed this weird generic build-up. Again, Disney Channel. It's like some animated Disney shit, like bringing up some villain like over and over, talking about him just as he or him. Like, what does he want, or what is he doing, or this is what he's gonna. It's like, dude, we know Kang's coming, but we would much rather have a more creative build-up to this Avengers level villain. Instead, they're just talking about him all the time. So generic.
Yeah. When the main selling point is Kang, you don't have to drop 12 different, coded lines about him. Like, we all know, like, and again, like you said, it wasn't even creative the way they did it. It was just kind of like, it's kind of annoying that you just say his name if you're going to, keep doing this. But
yeah, just say Kang. It's all good. You should have told him years ago. You're telling me he can come out of the quantum whatever and literally destroy the universe, not even just destroy the galaxy. Like, and you haven't mentioned it to anybody. So not only is it dumb for the audience, but it's dumb for
not
writing
even her
like
husband.
The characters. Her husband, dude. Seriously, nobody at all.
So I do have a question. How far ahead of the events of Endgame is this? Like, how long has she been out of the quantum realm? How long, what's the time frame with everything going on? Because I was thinking, it doesn't seem like doesn't seem like Scott and Cassie have caught up at all. Like, Scott doesn't know she's been working with Hank on stuff. Like, Scott doesn't know anything. So a lot of the events in the opening of this movie made it feel like this was like a week after Endgame. So I have no idea when this takes place. It would have been nice to know.
Yeah, they could place it anywhere. Yeah, there's nothing in there that ties it to a certain time. They could have taken place the day after Endgame. Nobody would know. And the quantum realm's a thing. So when that whole time they're in the quantum realm, it's like the snap of our fingers. So that doesn't even matter. But we got no idea where they are, even when you got the first 10 minutes of them in the real world.
Well, actually, now that I think about it, I guess in Miss Marvel, she mentioned Scott's book and podcast that came out. So I guess this will line up roughly to when Miss Marvel was, which I'm pretty sure was months after Endgame. But that's even worse. So it's been months and months, and Janet hasn't said anything, and Scott has no idea what Cassie does in her life. And like, what have you guys been doing over the last months? Oh,
self-absorbed.
He's been touring the country.
Solid.
Yeah.
So wait, so he sacrificed everything to get time back with his daughter, and now all he's done with that time is gone on book tours without his daughter. Steve, that's the issue I had with this movie. It doesn't line up with Scott and Cassie's relationship. Like, what was the whole deal? And Cassie looked up to him so much in the first two movies, and now she's just disappointed with him after he saved the world. And it's because, he did all this, and now he's doing book tours. It just doesn't make sense for me. It doesn't land for me. So that's a big issue I had with this film. I do want to say I enjoyed the movie. So if you're listening out there and you think this is going to be an hour of us just trashing this movie, I do have a lot of good stuff to say about it. I did enjoy it overall, but it had its issues.
Yeah, I think I have a lot more complaints, but I'm on the same page. Overall, I had fun watching it, but that's just because it's another MCU chapter, and Ant-Man and the Quantum Realm was exciting. But the Quantum Realm, dude, it's like they didn't even play with the physics of it at all. They had an opportunity to be very creative and weird and goofy with the physics of it, but they're like, nah, let's just have the physics in the Quantum Realm be just like Earth, so we don't have to be creative and have any fun with it. Like, it's the Quantum Realm, dude. They're not just going to be walking around like normal. You could at least have some fun with it. I thought we would get that in Multiverse of Madness, then that didn't happen, and I thought for sure it was going to happen in this movie, just a super trippy, but it still didn't happen in this movie. It's like they just got to get outside the box a little bit.
I thought they could have done more too, but I do think they explored it more than Doctor Strange explored the multiverse. Like, at least with this, we did get like the ants in the time vortex, how they were there for 1,000 years somehow, to where how they were only there for moments or whatever. And we get different civilizations and different types of trippy portals and stuff, but they still could have done way more with it. And yeah, because Doctor Strange barely did anything with the multiverse. So
barely did anything.
agree.
He pretty much flew through a few different universes and stopped by one or two universes for a few minutes. Yeah. At least this thing all took place in the quantum realm, which is what we expected from Doctor Strange, except in a multiverse way. But at least it all took place. So I'm just thinking they could have done something more creative, trippy, and outside the box for the physics of the quantum realm. But that's a nitpick. That wouldn't have changed the movie, though. That would just be more visually appealing.
It's hard to do that in a 2-hour movie, too, with everything going on.
That's true. It was probably short.
Yeah. They could have cut some time out of the villager story and the Bill Murray stuff, and maybe focus on some King.
Bill Murray, God, he was in one scene.
Yeah.
He was in a single
scene. What did you guys think of the Bill Murray cameo?
I kind of enjoyed it.
He did a good job acting.
Katie said, "Word, I'll be back in 5."
After he said he or him a few times, I was like, "All right, this is a good time to go."
Yeah, not a lot really got explained, so you didn't miss much. I enjoyed it. I like Bill Murray's humor and stuff, so I didn't mind it. I thought it was interesting, the whole conversation at the table with Bill Murray, how she's kind of hinting like, you guys don't know who Janet is, which, to be honest, that kind of didn't even pay out. I thought she did some vile stuff with Kang to survive, and it turns out that whole thing he was hinting at during that scene was just the fact that she accidentally helped him without knowing who he was. And then she sacrificed herself to stop him. But he's making it seem like she slaughtered villages and worlds with Kang or something to survive. So I was expecting a way worse thing to come out. And then it was like, she just didn't know? That was the horrible thing she did? Like, all right.
And she stopped him from escaping. She actually did a good job, and she got out of there. I don't know why they would be mad at her at all.
No, it didn't make sense. But I enjoyed Bill Murray. It was just weird he was only in one scene after going on a press tour and doing all that stuff. Like,
right. It was cool to get to see the little squid that they were drinking get enlarged and get some revenge.
Yeah.
Super messed up. When he looks at the glass, the thing like hides, like, no, please don't drink.
He just chomps it.
So yeah, I feel like Scott and Janet are the real driving forces of this movie. Mm-hmm. And Hank and Hope are kind of just there along for the ride. Like,
Hank's just there to say
Hank is
funny
there
things.
just to curse.
Yeah.
Half of his lines are "oh shit" or "god damn it." That's all he says.
I gotta say that line where he's like, I mean, this changes everything. This changes the course of human history, evolution, where we fit into the holy shit. That guy looks like broccoli. I laughed hella hard at that. I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, that's pretty much all he did was just cuss and drop some humorous lines.
Right. And this isn't Ant-Man 3. This is Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. And the Wasp is kind of just hanging out with her parents. She does save Scott from the parent, the time loop kind of thing, whatever's going on on the heist.
The probability zone or whatever.
Yeah.
But also she could have just done that from the start. Like she could have just flown down there and picked him up. And it sucks because she was perfect. Her design and look, while we're talking about her real quick, I know it's not Janet Van Dyne, but in the comics, Janet Van Dyne is the Wasp, and she has a black and yellow suit with short black hair. And they nailed the look with Hope here. There were some scenes where she looked like straight up pulled out of the comic book pages. But again, it's looking like Janet Van Dyne. Hope, I don't even know if is a comic character or not. But I really liked her look, so it sucked that she was barely in it.
I just wanted more Paul Rudd, too. I was a huge fan of the guy. He's so funny, but it was revolved around so much more than him. He didn't really have any time to shine. He had some good lines. He had some good scenes. But the first part focused on him and his book and his character there. And the rest of it was a lot of family stuff. But Paul Rudd is he's a G, dude. He's like, I want to see a lot of Paul Rudd. And I didn't really get a good fix.
Yeah, so speaking of Scott and Cassie, we kind of talked about the first group that gets split up in the quantum realm, and then we have Scott and Cassie, and they meet up with some, villagers who are in a rebellion against Kang. There was some good comedy, though, where, they ask, he's like, your building's alive? And the guy's like, your buildings are dead?
Yours are dead?
And drinking the goo to understand the language was kind of cool.
That was creative.
And how it came out of that guy, but then that that gooey dude kind of got kind of annoying to me. He kept coming back, you know?
They overplayed him a little, but he probably made me laugh the most out of anything.
Quit
in this
asking about how many holes people have.
How many holes do you have?
Some of us have holes. Quit asking that. Dude, it was voiced by Kurt, the weird dude in the previous 2 Ant-Man movies. He's on the heist team. The tall, like, Eastern European. It was voiced by him. I forgot what his name is. Yeah, David something. But I thought he was hilarious, bro. And they overplayed him. But that scene towards the end, I'm just going to skip since we're talking about the pink jelly guy. And you don't need to keep coming back to him. Where he's charging across the bridge, like high stepping, just yelling, like high stepping. I was dying. And then he gets lit up, which made me laugh even harder because he gets just absolutely lit up in the middle of that run. And then just I have holes, and he turns into an angry, evil Kirby and inhales everybody. That was like the Groot scene from the first Guardians. Like, not as good, but it reminded me of it, and I was just laughing so hard at that scene. So props to Pink Gooey Guy.
And we got William Jackson Harper. So I guess my Reed Richards cast is out the door. But, you know, he was in the MCU, so I feel like I get like half a point for that, right?
And in the quantum realm, which Reed has a lot to do with. So maybe
they
wasted him.
That could still be Reed Richards.
That's Reed. It could.
He's telepathic.
I thought that character was a waste. I didn't get much out of him. I thought it was a good idea, but they just didn't really. They just made a couple forced jokes, and then that was kind of it. The female warrior was dope. Like, all in all, the villagers had too much screen time. Let's just be honest. It was just kind of the whole generic oddball, like, you know, misfits group of villagers thing that we always see in this stuff, and that we saw in Black Adam and we saw in Thor Love and Thunder with the kids ganging up to beat up people. We always see these fight scenes of groups like that. But I will say the female warrior had some dope action scenes with the spear. She definitely had a little Dora Milaje style vibes going on there for a bit. But yeah, all in all, the villagers were meh. I know you guys weren't feeling it. At one point, I think a fourth of the way through the movie, I thought to myself, all right, this isn't bad. It wasn't good, but I was enjoying it still. But I was also thinking, yeah, people probably ain't going to like this movie. But I was personally like enjoying it through the first fourth. Just, I don't know. I wasn't analyzing it, that's for sure. But
I don't think I was invested. Sorry, well, I don't think I was. I mean, so I didn't dislike anything. I was watching it, enjoying it. It's fine, but I was just waiting for Kang the whole time, and I didn't like everything else. Wasn't that great?
Right,
straight up.
I think I enjoyed it the least out of the three of us, and I was really optimistic throughout the movie, though, where it was like, okay, once we get to Kang, things are going to get better, and they did get better for a little bit, and then it dropped back down. So I think I'm the lowest out of the three, but that's all right. That everyone can't be a winner.
Scumbag.
But let's get to one of my favorite parts of the movie. The Janet and Kang backstory. To where, they start to talk, hang out, and she helps him put the engine core back together. And I was wondering if he was like a different version at first, because it didn't seem like he was evil. He seemed like a really nice, normal guy. Mm-hmm. But then once everything's done, she touches the ship. And this vision she gets is sick, and she says, entire worlds, entire timelines gone like they never existed.
Bro.
And he's just destroying people, and you can see the timeline, and there's all these like incursions and it's just like destroying the whole timeline completely. So, what did you guys think about that whole twist?
That was honestly, that might have been one of Jonathan Major's best performances from the whole movie. His rage and anger at the end is great, but that one where he's calm and he's talking to Janet about life, and then when he realizes Janet's seen his mind, like the way he handled that, and how he's trying to remain composed, where he's like, I promise you I'll take you home, let me take you home, but you could tell he's on the verge of snapping. Like, I thought that was Major's best scene in the movie.
It just ruined it for me, the fact that we already touched on the fact that she didn't bring it up. Because the whole time I'm thinking, this is an excellent story for them too. It's an excellent story for Kang. Why is he trapped in the quantum realm? But seeing how big of a deal it was, and she still didn't tell anybody. So that kind of took me out of it a little bit.
Straight up.
Yeah, honestly, having that entire flashback as the opening scene of the movie would have been sick.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that would have been perfect.
Going all the way until like the end of the vision, and then and then just his looking at her as she's seeing the vision, and then it cuts.
Yeah.
Instead
Give
of
you
just
more-
having that first part, just give us a little more
or
Kang
a
at the
what
start.
did you see or whatever,
context.
something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we get some like badass King scene to start the movie. Then everyone's just like,
Yep.
we're hyped for, we're hyped and ready
Yeah.
to go.
Dude, I love
Totally
movies that
in.
start off like that. Yeah, like
Same.
even Multiverse of Madness, they started off with the action scene where they're going for the Book of Ashanti.
Right. And
I was
Doctor Strange
hooked.
is trying to kill her.
Right. I was hooked immediately off that scene. I was like, oh my God, okay, I'm in. Like this is so there's been plenty of Marvel movies out there who have had incredible intro scenes like that. And you're totally right. That Janet and King one would have been perfect and would have set the tone early. Like
Yeah.
And would have gave some context to when
just
she's
thought of
talking about him or whatever. Like everybody's talking about him. We already have a little context and that tone involved with him.
yeah, that would have been better. Good call.
But that was still one of my favorite parts in the movie, just getting to see that. And the quantum realm
I
is
like
huge, as you can tell. Massive.
Tiny and huge at the same time, and at
So
no time.
confusing. Every time I try to think of the scale of stuff, I just end up going, okay, whatever. Like I can't put this into relative thoughts for me.
No. Okay, but while we're talking about Janet and Kang, the scene towards the end of the movie where they're alone together in his his office, his Palpatine office, and he shows her the projection of the sacred timeline, which is a pretty cool part. A lot of exposition, but it was still cool. And he's like, I saw the chaos spreading across realities, universes colliding, endless incursions. I saw the multiverse, and it was dying all because of them. And then we find out, he got exiled by all the other Kangs for, causing all this chaos and conquering.
Right. Yeah.
They needed something to tie into that Loki thing at the end of that season, right? Everything that he explained in Loki now was kind of, explained further here. It finally continued, finally got an answer. And it's finally something in phase, whatever this is, that connects, like nothing is connected. This is finally something. There's some connective tissue there with this Avengers villain. Seeing the timeline gave you that visual that we saw so many times in Loki season 1. So that was nice.
Mm-hmm. And it connects, which I know we're getting to that later, into a future thing that happens towards the end of this movie a lot. But, he says because of them. And so you think of the Council of Kangs, but then you also think, well, the Avengers, everybody on the Avengers started jacking up the multiverse and the timeline. And that's probably who the Council of Kangs think is jacking it up, which again, we'll get into more of that. But yeah, it was kind of like a broad, it could have gone for multiple people. But yeah, I love that scene. It tied into Loki perfectly. And speaking of Loki, bro, the Jonathan Majors performance that we got in this compared to his Loki performance, the polar opposites of the same character he's playing, different versions of Kang, like incredible performance by Jonathan Majors on both projects. Like this dude is leading the MCU at this point. New RDJ, like he is the guy right now.
And he must be having a blast at the same time, getting to play all these different roles. It'd be so much fun.
Yeah. Eccentric, jumping up on tables while talking trash like in Loki. And now he's doing this crazy, savage, dark conqueror. Like, he's getting to hit the gambit on top of the 5 other movies he has going right now. But
the high quality actors that talk shit about how a comic book character is kind of already written for itself and it doesn't require skill to act, like you're right. He's probably having so much fun because this takes some serious chops doing different behaviors for different characters. There's potentially thousands of this one character with variations of personality. So that requires like the utmost skill. So it's very unique for him. It's such a unique character to play. He's lucky he got to be the first one to portray Kang on the big screen.
No, this is the superstar. This isn't the character's the star. I forgot who said that line about Marvel characters, but this is one of the roles where no, it's the actor who's making this right now. Like, it's crazy.
All right, well, we're all on the Kang train too much. There was one line I did not like of his, and that was when he said, "Burning the broken world and building a new one." So I know all villains kind of have the same ideals. But that line right there seemed way too close to Thanos and his ideals,
Yeah, it reminded me of Thanos, definitely.
Right. Casual viewers don't want to go out there and see, oh, they're just doing Thanos over again. This guy just wants to destroy the world and build his own, which he's not. I feel like they should have left that line out of there. They didn't need to say it that way.
Because that's the only line that ties him to other villains and make him not unique. Every single thing about Kang was unique from any other villain. That line was the one thing that every other villain says at one point.
Yeah,
one way or another.
So you can't really fault him for it.
But no, yeah, I agree.
Or-
They totally should have left that out. Like,
Yeah.
let him be his own deal. Like, yeah.
While we're on Kang,
Yeah.
one of the first scene. I don't know if this was the first scene when Scott and Cassie are in jail, the jail cells.
Mhm.
Is that one of the first scenes he's in?
Yeah.
Because
It
that
was
was a pretty
definitely-
Yeah, it was.
intimidating scene right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where Scott's like, I call the Avengers. They're gonna come help me, and he's like, I've killed Avengers before. Are you the one with the hammer? It's like
Similar
you
body
Thor?
type.
Like easy, bro.
We get confused
Yeah,
a
Scott's
lot.
like, yeah, we easily get confused.
Chris Pratt. Long hair, blonde, not that good looking. Yeah, I've seen him.
Needed saving. Yeah.
Needed saving. Sorry, what were you saying,
As
JD?
soon as he starts pulling Ant-Man into the wall
Glass.
or whatever you want
Yeah.
to call that, as soon as he starts pulling him into that and talking a bunch of shit and saying he's going to kill Cassie and all that, that's when I was like, oh hell yeah, that's an Avengers villain.
Yeah.
that was a good scene.
And he doesn't
That's
waste.
why I hated the end.
Yeah,
Like his power just depended on the plot. Like when he needed to be badass, he was badass,
Yeah.
and when he needed to be defeated, he kind of got defeated because he could have just floated up in the air. He didn't have to.
He could have done a lot of stuff in that.
He could have done a
third
lot of
act,
stuff to
which
not
is-
do that. Have that happen.
most of my
It-
gripes are
it-
going to come in during that third act issue because, yeah, there was a lot.
Compare. All right, so Thanos' first real full scene in the MCU, literally killed a ton of Asgardians, snapped Loki's neck like a pencil, killed Heimdall, beat the shit out of Hulk 1v1, defeated Thor, got an Infinity Stone, and that was your introduction. And then this
Hell
dude,
of an intro.
then Kang comes in and gets
that was
beat by
before the opening
Ant-Man.
credit.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he should have conquered. It's crazy.
Yeah. And again, that was just his first scene. And he did all of that in his first
Yeah.
scene. So,
Beat the two
Yeah.
strongest Avengers, and then you have Ant-Man winning the day in Ant-Man 3. Like, dude, this guy should not in any way, shape, or form get defeated by Ant-Man.
Right. So that was
And-
one of.
Well, it's just another way to be generic. This was a perfect movie to finally give us a movie where the villain wins at the end.
Yeah.
I don't know, Infinity War might be the only one, but that makes sense. This is a perfect movie to just not be generic, but like everything else, they chose the generic route.
Yeah. So that was my question: is Ant-Man the right movie to introduce Kang? Because once we get to Kang, the first 45 minutes of the movie are kind of pointless, and then every scene without him beyond that is kind of pointless. And then he gets defeated in the end. So bringing him in with like the Fantastic Four, which I know is way down the road, they couldn't have done that. But bringing him in with more substantial heroes, so we care about the whole movie more.
I think it was the right movie. I just think they botched the end. I think it would have worked
Yeah.
perfectly if they kept everything the same, but in the end, he either traps them in the quantum realm, kills Scott, or just escapes.
Right.
Then it still works perfectly. It made sense plot wise why he's in this movie. It needed Kang in this movie. They 100% needed Kang in this movie. So I think if they would have just changed the result at the very end, it would have been a perfect or a great movie for him to be introduced in. But
Yeah.
It could be one of those things that makes sense later. When we see what kind of plans they have for Kang, you know how Marvel does
Yeah.
that sometimes. I didn't like it either, but hopefully, in a perfect world, it'll make sense after a few movies. But it shouldn't have to rely on other movies to make sense. Just kill off Ant-Man. We don't need him. He played way more of a role than I expected up to this point, even in this movie. Like his involvement in Civil War, Endgame, like he played a huge role in the MCU so far. So he's played his
A
part.
lot.
You could let him go.
for sure. And we've kind of already hit the limit on the Ant-Man humor. Again, and I'm a big Ant-Man fan. I love the Ant-Man movies, but even I, who enjoyed this movie, is kind of like, yeah, I don't think I can do another movie of this. Like, another Endgame
Ant-Man
role
4.
is fine, like a small chunk of
Yeah.
the movie.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
good with that. But yeah, I don't really want another Ant-Man movie now.
Put him
He's a
in
great-
Captain America: New World Order.
I was gonna say he's a great
something.
side character in other movies.
Yes.
Like his appearance in
Yeah.
Civil War was so fun when they
was
opened the door.
perfect.
It's,
Mm-hmm.
what time zone is this? and then Captain America. It's so nice to meet all this shit. He's a good
You're great.
supplement, but he's not like a lead.
In Endgame,
character.
he's great
Right.
in Endgame.
True. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's hilarious in Endgame.
Yes. How he shows up. Is that a peanut butter sandwich? Is anybody eating that sandwich?
Yeah, no, he's great in that. But
take it back to Kang though.
perfect,
when he says, "I'll kill your daughter and make you watch, and then replay it over and over until you go crazy or do what I tell you." Like, jeez, man.
That's the villain. That's the villain we need right there. Like, holy crap. Yeah, before we jump off of Kang here, I already talked enough about Jonathan Majors and how incredible he was and how he chews every single second of screen time he had. Like, I couldn't take my eyes off him, not a sexual baby. It was just, he was just so... Like,
Michael, am I gay?
But yeah, he's just, what's the word I'm looking for? Charismatic and just like, guy just hooks you. But I was thinking, do we think Ravonna Renslayer is connected to Kang in this? So in the comics, Ravonna Renslayer is like his paramour, like Kang's girl that he does a lot of stuff for, I think. But she's obviously in the TVA in Loki season 1, and she's a variant. But he said something to Janet, like, you have no idea what I've lost, when he's talking to her. And it felt like more than just his freedom that he was talking about there. So I don't know. I was wondering, like, maybe is he connected to a Ravonna Renslayer or romantically involved? Maybe a father-daughter relationship. I don't know. It just seemed when he dropped that line to Janet that there was more behind it than just being trapped here.
A better writer in a different movie? We'll have to figure that out.
Oh, speaking of writers, it's like Peter. It's the same writer that's doing Kang Dynasty, isn't it? That's concerning.
Jeff
I saw
Loveness.
that.
Yeah, man,
Jeff
I don't
Loveness.
know. Kind of worries me. This was, even the writing was really bad. There was nothing special about this movie. The plot you can count on one hand, right? They get trapped somewhere, they need to get out. The guy who can get them out will destroy the universe if they all get out. Like, it's so simple.
Yeah.
There was nothing to it, dude.
Yeah.
That's scary. You're talking about an Avengers
You're
movie.
not wrong. Yeah, you are not wrong.
And
First
Shang-Chi
article.
director.
Oh, yeah.
who?
That'll help.
He's directing, so that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But he's newer,
Yeah.
right? Young.
Yeah.
Not that experienced.
That was like one of his first movies that he actually, I think, had like creative control.
But what did the Russo brothers do before the MCU? They did some stuff, but not like putting huge characters together and like perfecting
please come back and
matching their
save us.
personalities and having everything intertwined. Because they did like Arrested Development.
They
I don't know what else they did, but
sitcoms and,
yeah,
Community.
something that is not even action, let alone like huge character world building comic book shit.
Right.
And they freaking nailed it.
Yeah, bring him back. All right, when are we getting into our favorite topic, M.O.D.O.K, bro? I know you guys are itching
I know
to dive
that was
into
actually
that character.
just what I was about to bring up. So calm down. I know you love Spy Kids.
I want to
Take
talk
it easy.
about M.O.D.O.K.
So we get the return of Darren Cross,
Darren?
Scott's oldest enemy. Yeah.
It's so funny.
So I didn't really mind him at first, but like I said before this movie came out, he needs to have a very small role, and he can't be the reason Kang gets freaking defeated in the end.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
That was horrible.
And he's yelling, I'm not a dick anymore, or whatever, which was so cringe. Cassie, stop. Just like I said, he was way too pivotal of a role where they kept bringing him back, and then he, goes into Kang's bubble and explodes it, which gets all the ants all over him.
Man, that's a weird sentence. Yeah, I actually liked him for the first half. Like, when they brought him in, I thought it was hilarious. The whole, like you said, the whole Darren thing. He stops responding to him. And he like freaks out and screams at him, "I'm not Darren!" Like, kind of like unstable. And that part worked for me. I was like, yeah, that's who M.O.D.O.K is. He gets made fun of by everybody, but he's a psychotic, because he's gone through so much trauma. He hates everything. He hates everybody. And so he's a psychotic dude with anger issues that the majority of people defeat him and then make fun of his appearance. Like, that is M.O.D.O.K. So he's not supposed to be, from everything I've seen, he's never been a 100% serious character. Like, he's almost a gag character.
For sure.
I thought they did it great. Especially seeing his baby body dangling there with his ass cheeks being dropped.
Oh my God.
Like, I don't know why we keep seeing ass cheeks of superheroes and villains in the latest movies, but Yeah, I thought his introduction, it worked for me, though. Like, again, Paul Rudd was the perfect guy to be across from him to introduce M.O.D.O.K into the MCU. It was either him or RDJ. Like, you had to have those two to be there to be commenting on how ridiculous of a concept this was.
Or
That would
Tom
have been
Holland.
golden.
Tom Holland would have been pretty funny,
That would have been
too.
funny,
He
too.
doesn't... His reactions and stuff would have been funny. He just wouldn't have been quite as sharp as Paul Rudd or RDJ with, like, making fun of him.
Right.
But so if they would have tried to make it 100% intimidating, it actually honestly wouldn't have worked. So again, the first half, I was like, they actually pulled M.O.D.O.K off. He's goofy. They shit on him, but he can be deadly as hell, and he's unstable. So I thought they nailed the first half of the movie.
Yeah, I was cracking up.
And even in the second half of the movie, having like him versus Cassie was kind of a cool little, keep Cassie busy with the side villain.
Mm-hmm.
And, don't have him involved in the Kang battle, but he makes his way over after Cassie gives him a little pep talk.
Yeah.
I'm glad he had a mask. It's really unnerving to see the giant face in the mask. At least covered it up, and too bad they didn't keep it on more.
Yeah, I know they're going for like the comedy aspect of it by showing his face after a while because it would have been a lot more intimidating with the mask on, but sorry.
His death scene was kind of funny though, when he's talking to Scott and he's like, "You were like a brother to me," and you're like, "What?" And he's like, "I died an Avenger, right?" And Scott's like, looks over like, "Yeah, like sure, man,
sure."
I don't think Scott has that power to put people on the Avengers.
Hell no. Even though he did save the world, but hell no. Yeah, so that part was a little funny, but like you said, bro, like they could have done everything they did, but left him out of being the one to defeat Kang.
Let Cassie and Hope defeat him.
Yes, exactly. Like that's fine, and then maybe have like one of Kang's soldiers accidentally shoot him in the face and kill him or something. Or just have Kang kill him. Have Kang just swipe him aside when he decides to betray Kang. Just have Kang flick him like a fly and kill him, But to utilize him in the way that they did to defeat Kang, yelling the dick thing, all of that was my second least favorite part of the movie. But it was bad. It was just bad.
Well, let's move on to the third act. Are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it starts off with the heist. Pretty trippy scene. And, ants do work together. So finally they all get together and, make a pyramid. But then fall, and then the Wasp comes and helps them out. Did you guys like that? It was a pretty visually cool scene.
It was okay. I don't know. It seems similar to the Spider-Man thing. He ended up fighting a bunch of the same repeats of himself and stuff like that.
Yeah, Far From Home-esque, Mysterio style.
Right.
Yeah, I thought they could have, I thought this was something they could have gotten way more creative with. I went to the bathroom right when the scene started because I knew what it was leading to. But, I heard them say, you're in the probability zone now or whatever. So, more and more variants, I guess, of like different decisions you make lead to different outcomes or whatever. Is that? So I don't understand.
Yeah.
So if it's just different variants, I don't understand why 999,000 of them all had the same exact Ant-Man outfit. Like none of those variants ever had a different costume. And then you have 1 out of 1,000,000 in a Baskin-Robbins outfit. I get, again, you're going for the joke. I just don't understand the logic of it. Like how at least make 5 or 6 Baskin-Robbins. You only had one guy who's in the Baskin-Robbins and everybody else is identical, same exact Ant-Man outfit. Like not an older one, not a variation of one, just... And the CGI on that one guy was awful. Like, that was horrible. That was the third eye of Doctor Strange, terrible CGI of that guy, the Baskin-Robbins guy.
Which guy?
The Baskin-Robbins Ant-Man on top of the Ant-Man pile. It was horrible.
Oh.
It just looked like they copy and paste. It stuck out so bad. The movements, everything. It was really bad. So, I don't know. I guess they were going for the joke. I just didn't. I was like, I don't understand this.
And if that's the most creative thing you could do in the quantum realm, you're doing something wrong.
Right. That there was a lot of potential in that scene, and they really didn't do much with it.
Plus, why can everyone else fly, but Scott can't fly? Just give the man some wings.
Give him some wings.
Just flown up there and got the thing.
Right.
Right. That's what the Wasp is for. That's why she's in this movie.
Yeah. Only
one
for
part,
that one scene. Yeah.
So they pulled it off. and Kang gets his orb to take his army out of the quantum realm. And he says, "We conquer eternity and the dynasty of Kangs," which was kind of cool because we did get eternity at the end of Thor.
Right.
So we know there is an actual eternity.
But isn't there now not one? Because eternity, like, put itself into Thor's now daughter to, like, revive her?
It was just
eternity's... No, I don't want to
just
say
a
that
part
shit.
of her. I think it was just a part of her, like, bleeding into...
I thought she became her or something.
Yeah, no, eternity's always a thing.
Word.
Stupid. Don't even know eternity.
I'm out of here.
But Kang, classic villain, takes the orb and won't give Cassie back to Scott. So Scott gets pissed, and we see like double XL Ant-Man attacking the city. And he grabs a shield and uses it kind of like Cap, but if you're getting Cap vibes from that.
Yeah.
Which forces Kang to join the fight. And I love how he just floats down, like all nonchalant on his little, circle, and then just starts fucking shit up. Like, we get the couple of the villagers, the guy that has like the sound wave as a head.
Yeah, that was dope.
Just like absorbs all of his energy and throws it straight back into his face, and he was a goner.
Yeah,
dude, his blast disintegrated people upon contact. That's crazy. What are the Avengers gonna do?
Literally burning them out of existence. Like,
send giant ants at him
immediately.
Didn't he just disintegrate all the ants around him?
There's so many issues with everything that happened in this third act.
Yeah.
He could have done it. If he had enough strength to put up a shield, he could have easily done something he did earlier in the movie, which was the Tony Stark 360 spin thing with all the beams. Yeah. There was a ton of stuff that Kang did wrong in this third act. But mainly, like you said, he floated down on those discs to face Ant-Man, which somebody did the math and they said like Ant-Man, like he was 62 feet or something when he was bragging about it to Goliath and Ant-Man and the Wasp. He's like 62 or whatever. And then Endgame, I guess he was like 115. But I guess in this one, he was like 400 feet tall in comparison to everything like somebody did. So he was freaking insanely huge. But the Kang thing was badass. But honestly, he just got super greedy here. Like, he could have just taken off by himself, first off, and escaped the quantum realm. He had the battery. He had the core. I understand that he built this massive army and he had a plan now that he wanted to escape with, but he could have escaped at any point during that entire battle. When he saw it going south, he could have still left. And he
got in his chair.
Or just go down there.
Word to Dave for saying, the whole plot of the movie is he's going to need Scott to go on a heist to get the thing that powers his chair.
Did call that aspect. I think it just got ruined for me because the next day Empire dropped that picture of him sitting in his chair and I was like, oh, okay, well they're already telling us like that's not cool now. But
we recorded it first.
Yeah, I made a post on social media, put a disclaimer about that. I said that before that image came out. But he just got greedy. Like only greedy, he could have came down earlier. He was just sitting up there watching his armies get wiped out by Ant-Man and these armies and stuff, and he's all powerful. Like, he literally could have floated down there at the beginning and wiped out the villagers in 10 seconds and not lost his entire army, and then face Ant-Man, Wasp, and Stature all in one. But he waited for, like, 3/4 of his army to get wiped out before he eventually went down to the battle. And it was just like, what are you doing? Go down there or leave, but don't just chill while everything is going the wrong way.
Yeah.
I will say his powers, did it remind you guys of Darth Vader at all? Or the Force in general. I love it, though. His matter manipulation.
In the
it's
jail.
Just like the Force. In the jail only, and we never see it again, which is, again, the random use of powers is kind of a plot hole in itself.
Force
or not
the
using
ants.
them in the case of when you got... Yeah.
No, I did love that jail scene. And barely was even moving. Like, he used minimum movements to absolutely torture them. Like, that was definitely a sign of power.
And the rebellion from the villagers gave me Rise of Skywalker vibes, with them all like running and flying in, like on your left, or not on your left, but whatever Lando says,
But there are more of us. There are more of us.
Yeah.
There's too many of them, and then he cuts in. So I got a different vibe. I got Cassie getting on a hologram and hyping up the people of Ferrix to revolt against the Empire in that episode, in that scene. Like that just looked like Marva giving her little riling speech to get every. Yeah, they were. It was just such a played out trope. Obviously, when we come in with 4 examples of different things that have come out in the last 2 years that it mimicked, it's like, yeah, that you probably could have gotten more creative with it then.
Winter Soldier, the Captain America speech to the Hydra agents.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing.
Just it happens
Trope.
so much. Like you could have done something way cooler.
So when Kang gets sucked into the orb at the end, do you think he's not dead, right? Think he's in the beyond? Like Darren Cross style?
Oh,
because what if he gets he comes back as the Beyonder?
Well, there's so many places he could be. Different universe, a space in between universes, a pocket realm, a different part of the quantum realm, like another layer of the quantum realm, a subatomic. Like the MCU has everything. But about who he is, what annoys me about it is I don't know who this guy is. Is this the guy in Avengers King Dynasty? Or is it going to be another variation because he was defeated?
I think Kang Dynasty is going to be the Kang, the Council of Kangs. I think we're going to get multiple Kangs in Kang Dynasty. I think this is the Conqueror, but I think he's not done. He would have died on screen. Like he's not done. He got sucked away, and again, like you said, we saw Darren Cross. Pretty much the same thing happened to him, except Darren Cross was snapped in half like 12 times while he was being sucked down there. So I don't know if he is dead. That's weak as hell.
And if it's
the Avengers need someone like a very specific person to have their conversations with, and for someone to carry the weight of that that intimidation. So I think he will be the one. It's just weird that he got defeated.
Right. But if it's good storytelling, then this Kang has to be the one that comes back, defeats the Council of Kangs. Yeah, he's the one they're afraid of.
Right.
He's the badass prime king, Kang the Conqueror. They don't want him around. They're celebrating his defeat now. And then, he was like, so
good
it
call.
would be cool if he comes back and he's the one that wins and he's the one in Secret Wars.
Yep.
I hope he is.
That seems to be right.
Because I like him.
Well, you said the thing about the Beyonder, too. I'm pretty sure in the comics, the Beyonder is another variant of Kang. Like, it's a different Kang that ends up being the Beyonder. It's not? I could have sworn it was.
I don't think so. Just because I remember in the Hickman run when Thor and Hyperion go face the Beyonders and like hundreds of things come out. And they were like weird machines with no physical limitations. So I really don't know. I don't think so, though.
Word. It was just, that was just a super, super weak way. And the Council of Kang, they state that he's dead. They're like, are you sure? And he's like, I wouldn't have called you here if he wasn't. But I don't know. I still don't believe it. And maybe they think he's dead because he's in a different dimension that they can't sense anymore or something,
Right.
Or he's in the void or something like that. Like that we saw in Loki. Maybe he's in the void and he hops in that Sphinx and he flies it on over back to wherever the hell he needs to go and kills the Council of Kangs.
Came from.
There you go.
That orb has the power to like travel time and dimensions. So there's probably like a little dimension inside of it, right?
Right.
Seriously, nothing's off the table at this point. He could be inside his own fingernail. Who knows? I think, it'd be sick that's not going to happen. He's in the negative zone and he comes back to the MCU with the Annihilation Wave. Not going to happen. That'd be dope.
Could be it, though. I mean, yeah. Or Fantastic Four stumble upon him when they get brought in. Because he's stuck in some weird ass thing they're checking. There's a lot of cool stuff they could do. It's just the way they did it. Like again, like he could have just escaped and left them there, or something, but not die to ants and then to that. I know he came back, which I will say. So he came back after the ants carried him off. Thank God. Because if that was the end, I really would have been pissed. If the last we saw was just ants carrying him away. But so he comes back and he gives the final fight with Scott. And I gotta say, it usually doesn't work for me. Like, it's kind of annoying when you get to the third act of a movie with these crazy, powerful beings and it's just a fist fight. Because it happens all the freaking time. Like Black Panther, all that stuff. It always turns into just a one-on-one fist fight. But this is one of the ones that actually worked for me. Because Kang throwing right hooks and straights Like, it was like Soldier Boy and the Boys. Like, they demonstrated how powerful that dude's punches are. Like, I thought they were absolutely, like, they nailed it on how devastating his punches were, and he's just beating the hell out of Scott. And Jonathan Majors himself has boxing form. He's working on Creed. So, like, it was believable. 3. The scene where he was throwing the punches, I was like, oh, yeah, Scott's getting worked right now. So I actually enjoyed this fist fight at the end of a movie, and I usually have issues with it.
Me too. It was intense. It kind of transcended the Ant-Man vibes. I mean, it really got that was a brutal beating, and that's Ant-Man, man. You don't beat up Paul Rudd. It's messed up.
And more blood than usual.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A lot more blood than Green Goblin.
Yeah, he didn't have any.
He was like, oh yeah, I was thinking the first Tobey Maguire that had a lot of blood, but you're right.
Yeah,
the guy who's getting hammered on by Tom Holland, there should have been blood.
Yeah, just nothing. Yeah, no, that was a good way to do it. It was interesting. I mean, it was kind of, I don't know, it's cool. I guess the only thing that really defeated Kang in the end was his ego. Because if his ego wasn't overpowering, he could have just easily escaped the quantum realm and gone on to do whatever he planned to do. But his ego was his downfall. So I like that. But
he's the big villain. He can't lose in his first outing. He's 0-2.
Yeah, he is 0-2, huh? But did he really lose at the end of Loki? Because that's what he wanted, right? Or did he want to die?
Right. He smiled and said, "I'll see you soon." I don't think he was really tripping on it.
And that's so much creepier now that you know Kang. It's like kind of that scene is going to get better and better the more we see Kang.
Mm-hmm. When he's like, just wait till you meet my variants.
Yeah.
Well, here's our first encounter with one, and it was pretty crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just explaining the multiverse war and how they had to put him in jail. Not in jail, but, they had to stop him and his variants being way worse than him. It's going to get better and better.
Yeah, so that's one thing I'll say about this movie. I had a lot of issues with it, a lot of nitpicks. Oh, but again, I came out of the movies and I wasn't like mad or disappointed. I was like, it was a fun watch. I enjoyed it. But again, like I texted people when they asked how it was, and I was like, I enjoyed it, but you're probably not going to like it. I wouldn't be surprised if you say that was garbage. But for some reason, I had a fun time watching it. But the one thing they really did do well was set up. I thought they set up Kang Dynasty in a good way. They have the Council of Kangs. We get Kang being sucked away, but we don't know where exactly he got sucked to. There's a lot of mystery going behind that. The whole post-credit, obviously, which we'll get into, and then Scott's thoughts when he's walking down the street, and he's like, yeah, things are good. We did this and that. Wait, right? No, I mean, I did beat him, right? Like, I thought that worked hella well. He's having like what am I thinking of? I can't think of the term.
Existential crisis.
Internal monologue.
There it is. Oh. Existential. That's what I was looking for. That too. Internal monologue of an existential crisis. You guys both nailed it.
Words.
But that worked for me a lot. Like, he was freaking out in his mind, so it wasn't just a basic happy ending. It was like, oh, good. They kind of left an opening there. So I thought that was a very good decision by them.
But, okay, so credit to New Rockstars, the other credit your material. So is he in a different reality now? Because in the beginning of the movie, it was his book that he was talking. And now at the end, who is he talking to? Who is he narrating to? And everyone he passes by knows who he is, and they're all like smiling and turning around. And there is a couple that is in...
Instead of calling him Spider-Man and stuff, they're all calling him Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all call him Ant-Man. There's a picture of him on the wall with the heart around it. And Eric theorized that they only do that for Avengers who are dead, and everyone is surprised to see him that he's still there. And there's a couple in front of him that they make sure to show. There's a lady with the green shirt and a dude, and they wave at him. And then as he walks forward and turns back, the same couple is behind him. So there's like he's on some type of a loop. No, but he's on some type of time loop, and everyone's sticking to the script. And he says something bad was coming, and then everyone would die if I didn't get out. So like there could be like a different timeline.
Just for pure entertainment purposes, I love New Rockstars, but most of Eric's stuff comes out not to be true. I'll just say it.
Right.
Some of it does.
That is
a
kind of
lot
weird,
of it does
though.
not.
Yeah.
No, that's
It is, but I think that's cool just for itself. It sounds like an awesome
But he
idea.
called him
That'd be fun
Spider-Man,
to-
and
just-
everything
that's
he
why-
did was secret.
I
in the
know.
Quantum
Yeah.
Realm.
A lot of things
No one
always
knows
make
what he
sense
did.
on New Rockstars. Yeah.
you got
That
me
is
in the
crazy,
first
and
half of that.
I'm still thinking there's a possibility that every single movie in Phase 5 has all been a different universe. Now, I didn't create that theory. I heard it, and I shouldn't say I believe it. I don't believe that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying I believe that's not off the table. And that would give credit to Ant-Man being in some weird different reality too, if they're right about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from that one. I know. I remember you told us about that. And I guess it could. It just doesn't really hit for me. And your Ant-Man theory too. There, at first it did. Being stuck in the loop though, and people being in like the Truman Show and keeping up the hoax doesn't really land for me. But yeah, how do you know? That's literally what you use the quantum realm to do is time travel, or they've been splitting different universes. Like that is the hub. That's the travel hub for time travel and interdimensional travel. So yeah, how do you know you're coming back into the same universe? I don't know.
And he was stuck there, and they conveniently found him with his daughter's device.
Yeah,
Like-
how'd she do that? How'd she get that portal back open? It was shut, and M.O.D.O.K was the only one who configured that to be able to track them down where they... I don't know. I thought they were trapped when it closed, and then it just opened back up with no fanfare like 3 seconds later. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Like, let's go home. Mm-hmm. Should we talk about the post-credit scene?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
probably.
It's getting 8 o'clock. I'm a fucking old father. Ages you.
So the first one, we get the Council of Kangs. And it's a big arena with a bunch of shouting Kangs. And you see the sacred timeline right behind them with more incursions happening. And we get the Council, Pharaoh Ramatut, Immortus,
Yeah.
and who looks like a young Kang, maybe a Centurion, whatever
That's
his
what
name is, Centurion.
yes. But he's Scarlet in the comics. Obviously, that dude was purple, but whatever.
So what do you guys
Yeah.
think about this first post-credit scene?
I love the first half.
Yeah,
You go,
I'm
Jim.
not a fan. I don't like Ramatut's or I don't like Kang's variant Ramatut, or the whole variant thing just gets a little weird. I'd be cool if there's certain variants I like. Iron Lad, probably my favorite. But anyway, I just don't like the Ramatut thing. I don't need an Egyptian dude wearing whatever those things are, bringing sphinxes to Earth to ruin the mystery. Then we're gonna know where it's from. But no, and then you got a whole Council of Kangs. It seems like that should be huge news, but didn't really hit for me. I don't know. Council of Kangs. We already have this badass king. I want to see how he manipulates time personally, not like a bunch of different variants trying to stop him. Hopefully it's just villain fodder and he defeats them like you said earlier, Lub. Didn't hit for me.
Huh. Okay. I thought you might have liked it. Well, but real quick, in the comics, aren't Kang variants like a pretty big role in Kang's entire storyline? Like they're always kind of referenced or talking about him or exiling him.
Not that I'm aware of. Ramatut was big. I'm pretty sure he was first appeared as Ramatut, like in a Fantastic Four thing.
Yeah.
That was his very first situation there. And he didn't actually take place as the Kang that we know and are familiar with until like a Thor issue, both in the 60s. But variants aren't even talked about that much in comics a lot. Variants have a lot more weight in the movies. There are variants sometimes, like there is a council of, I think, Kangs. There's definitely a council of Reeds. There's multiple characters. They are variants, but they're doing way more variants here. There's thousands, or maybe, there was a low thousands in that room of variants of Kang. Variants of Loki. The term variants, even in the comics, I haven't read that much.
I have seen comic panels though where there's like a whole arena of Kangs, and then like a main group that's in a circle. But again, I haven't read them. I just always thought that the Council of Kangs and led by Prime Kang and Immortus and stuff were like big in it. But again, I haven't personally
It's from the
read them.
80s.
Well, and I haven't read a lot of Kang, to be honest. He's not involved in some of the really well-known, well-criticized comics. There's a few of them here and there, but there's other villains that are way more prominent. So there's a lot out there that I have not read regarding Kang. So you could be right, for sure.
Straight up.
And actually, I forgot that scene that comic you're talking about is not even a Kang comic. It's someone else's.
No, I
And
think
there's
it's
like a random.
I think it's just an Avengers comic. But Or maybe a Fantastic Four. Yeah. No. And again, I've never read a comic story that had Kang in it at all or even mentioned him. So I'm going off of videos I've been watching where they show little clips of comic stuff and stuff like that. So all third party stuff I'm coming from. But I like that scene for the first half. I thought the Ramatut thing was cool. I thought Immortus was dope. It was cool to see Immortus. I thought the Scarlet Centurion or whatever the hell that guy was goofy as hell. The way he talked, everything, it just came off corny to me. So after it showed those guys, I thought that was dope. But when it cut to the crowd and all the different ones and they're all goofily cheering and jumping up and down and fist pumping, I thought that was hella campy. I thought it was way too campy for something that should be like ominous and like, oh snap, the Kangs, like this is crazy. All we ever hear about is how evil the variants of Kangs are, and then we get these dudes like acting like they're drunk at a college football game. So I don't know. That second half didn't hit for me.
You know that, yeah.
And they kept it dark to keep the CGI easier because I'm sure they filmed it a couple months ago and had people slaved to finish it. But let's move on to the end credit scene, which was my favorite. I liked it a lot more than the first one because it is a Loki season 2 teaser trailer, basically. And we're in the 1900s, and we meet Victor Timely. And he says, "Time is everything. It shapes our lives. But perhaps we can shape it." And we see Loki with Mobius out in the crowd. And, he says, this doesn't look like this, powerful, crazy person. And he's like, "Trust me, it is." So is Loki gone from like a prisoner to an agent now? Or is there just like complete chaos to where, basically, you can do whatever you want in the TVA because of what happened in season 1?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're going to team up for sure, but I don't know how they're going to get to that point. Because, when we saw them in the post-credit or at the very end, Mobius was like, "Who are you? Are you an analyst?" Like, and then he starts calling the guards over. So I'm sure we'll get to it at some point. But yeah, I'm sure they'll be partners in crime. It was cool.
So just another clip. I think it's going to be a scene out of Loki season 2. So that I don't like about it. But the scene itself, I really enjoyed watching. You got Owen Wilson and Loki. I was a big fan of that season. That series Loki. I think a bigger fan than most people are probably. Love the dynamic between the two, so it was just good to see them on screen together again and seeing Kang talk about time the way he was on stage in an old school setting when people are not thinking anything about time, and he's over there doing that. So I liked it again, but still doesn't live up to the Marvel end credit scenes from a long time ago.
I think you're right. I think that is going to be a scene from Loki. We got news he's in 3 episodes of Loki season 2. Jonathan Majors, not Kang himself. So, yeah, I think that's actually a good point. That's probably just a scene.
I think these were good end credit scenes compared to the last couple ones, though.
I agree with you.
Both of them meant something.
Yeah. Compared to the shit recently, the past couple of years, yeah.
Definitely improvement,
Yeah, well, I think Loki's still my favorite Marvel TV series that's came out.
I've seen it most out of any of them. I don't know if it's my favorite. I've seen it like 3 times. It's good.
Yeah, I don't know yet. Mine are all very close. They're all kind of average, but in their own different ways. Loki's better. Yeah, Loki's probably the best one, but they're
it
fun.
Felt really important to the MCU. That's what I loved about it.
Yeah, totally. So speaking of, real quick, that first post-credit scene being important to the MCU, I love that line where Immortus is talking to them and he says they're beginning to touch the multiverse. And they're like, "What do you mean?" And the heroes are beginning to touch the multiverse. So that line alone was dope. That felt like a ominous Thanos line, or at the end of the Avengers where they go, humans, you can't control humans, blah, blah, blah. And Thanos smiles and takes it as a challenge kind of thing. So that one line in there where he says that about the heroes touching the multiverse, because finally we get acknowledgement of Loki, of Spider-Man, of Doctor Strange, all these multiversal things we've been seeing and never see anybody referencing it again. We finally got a thing where they're paying attention. They're noticing it. So I did like that part a lot.
Well, let's wrap it up with some ratings. And, lasting thoughts. JD, let's kick it off with you.
I think I'll give it a 6.5. I'll just say it was generic, felt very like an animated Disney show. But on that weird contrast, Kang was amazing. It was actually like one of the most unique movies in the way that the movie was so average, but a villain was so good. but I wouldn't want to rewatch it again just because of its mediocrity. Love Kang though, and otherwise it's just an Ant-Man movie. It feels like the Ant-Man movie has the same tone, same lightheartedness, and then you had Kang, which made it awesome for the scenes he was in. So
yeah, it's pretty accurate.
Dave?
Yeah, so I got it. I'm not going to get into all this, but I look back at my MCU movie ratings recently, and I'm not happy with it. I don't believe Thor: Love and Thunder deserved above a 7. So if I could go back and change that, I would drop it to a low 6 probably. So I almost put this higher just to separate it from Thor: Love and Thunder, but I'm not going to do that and just continue to skew my ratings. So I'll try to fix it now, but I got this at a 7.2 out of 10. Very average. Again, long run, there wasn't a lot of creativeness. There was a ton of missed opportunities, and they could have done way more with what they did. But I left the movie theater thinking, that was a fun movie. I enjoyed it. I wasn't really disappointed while watching. I was just enjoying it, having a fun time, kind of brain turned off. But I just enjoyed it. So 7.2. But yeah, if I critically think about it, there's a ton of stuff to pick that's wrong with it.
Well, since this is our podcast, so we can do whatever we want, I will be dropping my Thor rating from a 7.2 to a 6.7. I actually had this already planned out before you even said that.
You got to go up the chain of command and
So-
put it through the paperwork and get signatures for something like this.
Yeah, you're missing a lot of signatures.
No. I am the Senate. Because I'm going to rate this movie because when I think of it on the scale of Thor, I honestly laughed harder in Thor, even that beginning scene of Thor when he's playing the guitar and stuff and messing around. That was pretty funny.
See,
'cause
I
it was just
hated
the
that
beginning.
scene. But that's fair.
But so I'm gonna rate it a 6.8 because I can't give this movie a 7 because everything without Kang in it is useless. Maybe I had too high of expectations for this movie because it was my first pick and it was introducing Kang, but it's an Ant-Man movie, so I should have expected that. But it wasn't really well paced or edited. They were cutting mid-scene a lot, which was kind of weird, mid-sentence. And just too much goofiness. And it was kind of a CGI mess. A lot of CGI. And just the power scaling with Kang was off, and it kind of just depended on the plot. But I still loved him.
What did you give it?
6.8.
And what was Thor? Sorry.
6.7.
All right. Well, mine's
Revised.
6.5 for Thor, but whatever.
The 6.8 while we're doing the appeals.
All right, so we're changing all of our Thor: Love and Thunder scores. JD's dropped a full point from 7.8 to 6.8.
I liked it significantly less on round 2 and in round 3.
Yeah, see, if you watch it again, you should be allowed to rescore.
Look, we take our job seriously. We're tasked to give our full, truthful, honest opinions.
Yes.
And if we don't feel like it matches up, then we're going to change it. So Thor: Love and Thunder just lost about 3 total points right there in a matter of minutes.
Yikes.
Stocks are down.
But it's good to go back to, when you're struggling on rating something and it's well, what did I rate this? And then that. And it's okay, it was in between those two. So,
Right.
So, but we need to drop a couple things down. Thor: Love and Thunder was what, our third episode, fourth episode?
It was early.
Moon Knight probably goes down a little. I don't know. There's a lot.
Yeah,
Right.
it was our third rating thing that we did. So yeah, I like this more than Love and Thunder though. I enjoyed this one way more than Love and Thunder.
Yes.
Again, I actually I like this movie, but I understand the bad ratings for it.
Because Kang had more screen time than
Oh God, yeah, Gore
What's,
had 6.5
Gore?
seconds.
yeah.
Kang at least got a half hour. It seemed.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up for our coverage of Ant-Man and the Wasp, who was barely in it, Quantumania. So please join us next time for our coverage of The Last of Us, episode
6. Damn.
6.
6.
Thank you. We love you. Subscribe, rate, and review on Apple and Spotify, please. Get those reviews coming.
And how many holes do you have?
This is a family program.
Baby.
Let's all get up and count.
I started counting when he said the
dude,
he
so
said
did
the
I.
number. I was like,
8?
and then the guy did it on screen too. I forgot who it was. He's Yeah, no, that's right. I was like, oh, we're all counting. How many people were counting in the theaters at that moment? Oh, God, it was funny. All right.